was doing her exit. And there's a lot of we're going to talk about April and Leo. We're going to talk about that when we get to them. When she called Leo out his name, we're going to get to that. But Julia Ruth, y'all, what happened if you are not watching the show or you are not caught up? Julia Ruth kept talking about Devani, her husband, in a very derogatory manner, saying that he will never get with her. He will never be intimate with her. She's not attracted to him. Yet all the while, quietly, silently, they are doing the deed regularly, according to him. He did not divulge it to the group, but he was taking the hits from the group. And she got mad at him because he started talking and sharing, and people realized that she was really playing him and playing his reputation for the group. We're not saying Devani is a saint, but she definitely was very derogatory in all of this. And when she's called out at this dinner party, that was the behavior that was seen. Finally, at the commit me ceremony, there finally was leave, and Devani, I'm sorry, you saying they're the best kind of friends you've had, da 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 da. Another one sniffling and not a tear in sight. That's when I clocked and it solidified that he was here playing games too. So what were your thoughts? I know you have a special name for Julia Ruth, and I'll let you say it. What did you think this week about these two?
Yeah, Julia Ruthless is her new name, her moniker. And she lived up to that name. She earned it. She deserves it. I'm not going to take that away from her. That's at least one thing she gained from her appearance on the show. Now, Devani, we have a saying over here, and it's more like a name, and it's calling someone a div.
Oh, what's that?
And Devani definitely puts the div in Devani. I'll fill you in the backstage chat. But he lived up to that name. Now, I knew this ending was going to come. I saw this with foresight weeks ago, because as soon as her manipulation was unraveled, there was no way that their relationship would be sustainable, because it wasn't real. She never liked that guy from day one. She was using him to stay on the show for possible opportunities career-wise after the show ended. And secondly, to possibly swap and get her clutches into Steven, who she's much more attracted to. Devani, I think initially, and for much of their connection, actually thought there was a chance. And that was because Julia Ruthless was sleeping with him from the second day or whatever it was. And also, whilst sleeping with him, and despite telling him that he's not her type physically, he's not tall enough, there's probably a few other things that he's not enough of. But by sleeping with him, knowing that he liked her more than she liked him, it was giving him false hope. And she was basically doing that, in my opinion, just so that he would say yes on the couch, on the commit me's. Yeah. And they could present a united front at the dinner parties. That was her motive, in my opinion, just to, sprinkle a little sugar here and there, give him something sweet to suck on, excuse the pun. But then he gets deluded, and then he goes along with the charade. So it backfired. The whole group found out about it. They found out about, because what they were doing is they were comparing and contrasting everything that she'd been saying about him from day one, and then listening to them at the commit me ceremonies and the dinner parties, and them showing up in a united front. So the group are thinking, how does this mesh. Like, how do you go from saying you don't like this guy at all, making gestures about how you're repulsed by him, etc., but then you're holding hands and saying you have a chance together, and when asked directly if you're physically attracted to him, you're telling everybody yes at the commit me's, but you're saying to each of the group members individually or away from Divani behind his back that you're not interested in him at all. You're not attracted to him at all. So her lies are what got us here. Her lies are what got her here. So I was glad to see them go. I think that the sustained and prolonged exposure that Julia Ruthless was getting on TV was just becoming unnecessary. She was beginning to explode into monologues, derogatory comments, unnecessary rants, and also continued to gaslight and manipulate. She was manipulating the new brides that had come into the show that weren't aware of her prior behavior. At the dinner table, she was manipulating Divani while he's sitting there right next to her saying, oh, you feel like you've got a voice, don't you? You know you can always speak up. You know I've never stopped you from manipulation. And then when her and Divani went and had a word away from the group and sat down on the couch, where he obviously went to offer her the blanket. Hey, so, would you like to share the blanket? She said, no, I'll just have it, thank you. So he gave her the blanket. What did she do? Start off manipulating him straight away into, oh, well, I feel like, that I had anxiety about coming here in the first place. I did this for you. I only came on this to this dinner party for you because you wanted us to. And instead, so Divani's sitting there crazy face thinking, huh? What are you talking about? I never asked you to come here. I think what he was attempting to say was, I only gave you the stay, like the extended stay, to try and make amends for everything that you've done. Not to have you try and flip it and turn around and say, oh, well, I'm only here for you and I pity you and that. Oh, no, you got to go after that. So Julia Ruthless, I'm glad to see the back of her. And unfortunately, my theory about her opportunities or wanting to use the show to her advantage were proven correctly, because I so happened to find a series of music videos to songs that she's performed where she's actually made a likeness of some of the experts on the show and also a likeness to Divani. And she's actually singing songs and making videos to replicate some of the scenes from the show, but obviously with her song lyrics and smearing cake all over her face and various other different things. So yeah, this is a crazy person in my opinion. Very hostile. I'm not sure who's going to be attracted to her next or want to trust having a relationship with her, but I pity the fool. What did you think, Elsid?
I did see those music videos, and y'all, it was a lot. It was, campy videos. One was acting like Devani, like he was lying that they actually did sleep together. Another one was, food and the show, and she's rolling around in food. It was the show was definitely being used for her benefit. Now, is this the best way to use your fame from the show? I don't think so. And I don't think it did her any favors to be telling off everybody at that table, looking at Nelly like she was staring daggers across the table. It did not help. If you want a villain edit, it's okay to have a villain edit, but you don't have to scorch the earth and get a villain edit. You don't have to do that. So again, I'm like, what is the purpose? Even if you want, yes, I will lean into my villain edit. How? What kind of villain do you wish to be portrayed as? Because now people are going to forget. And I do question, now that I see how much she has changed a narrative, I do question, but I quietly question, or now people will forget that he was yelling at you at the honeymoon, that you felt that he was being a little too loud, a little too this, a little too that. And to here we are today looking at you like you are, wild thing, and you telling off Bailey. April is trying to stand up for you because, as you said, manipulating the new brides. The new brides don't know how she has been talking about Devani. The new brides are taking up for her, and Leo's kind of saying, stay out of it. Let the other people talk, the people who've known her from the beginning. Stay out of it. And then having April call her husband out his name. It's like you are causing a ripple of destruction across multiple people on this table. I mean, it's okay to tell Bailey off, but then to tell him off in such a manner, to be looking at Nellie in such a way, and calling her insecure and all that. Yes, she may be, but sometimes you can be a villain, but it's how you are the villain. And I didn't think it portrayed her in a very good light. And she could have well been on her way, because the way you acted, yes, she may get some brand deals or whatever, but I don't think many brands want to be associated with someone who uses that language. I don't think so. And I don't know all that much about, y'all in the UK and y'all brand deals and imaging, but I think y'all a little more sophisticated than us. That ain't gonna fly. It may fly over here it's stateside, but I don't know brands that will be okay with her yelling and carrying on with the men like she did.
Well, I don't think she has to worry about the UK because, she's from New Zealand. So what they allow her to get away with over there might be different. But yes, in the UK, they're a lot more conservative, and they're very quick to get you off air and cancel you if there's anything associated with your name, personality, brand, etc. But I think more importantly, the brand of Julia Ruthless that's been harmed is her dating market. Now, there were undertones and rumors that there's a potential cheating scandal and she's involved in it somehow. And, you've had a few grooms' names floated out there. And I was basically saying, I don't see it happening, because I don't see how anything she did in the way she treated Devani or their relationship would be attractive to any guy worth his salt. I don't see anything attractive about that type of behavior. Anything from the volatility to the self-centeredness to the manipulation to the lusting after another man while you're with a guy, to the performative nature of it, the monologues, the dressing downs. I don't see anything positive about it. So that's just me. And I don't like toxic relationships. But yeah, in 2025, I don't see many guys signing up for what they saw on how she behaved on the show. And that's where I think she's going to get hit the hardest, because she can't pretend that all of that was editing or it wasn't a true reflection of her. No, she created a lot of what we saw. And that's whether it's the sound bites or the performative actions or the hostility towards all of the other castmates, including her husband. So yeah, I think the dating market may have maybe experiencing some turbulence with her for a good long while, and it's good because she needs to sit on the couch and unpack why she presents and why she chooses to be the way she is.
Yeah, I really don't think she should. The only way she could get past this is if people believe it's a character. If people believe it's a character she was trying to be and portray, and the thing is that I'm thinking that she is going to use this for her music video, her brand, and other things like that, and she's going to lay into character and lay into maybe acting gigs, and this will blow over, because this is going to blow over by the time a month after the season is done, unless interviews are happening. But definitely the way it was handled, not at all. I really don't like it. And Devani, dude, you accepting it? I don't know why you would go along with accepting it and never speaking up for yourself. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, Devani, I can't say he didn't speak up for himself. I will say that he didn't have a strong enough personality to command her attention or her respect. And I understand, you know, we're in a day and age where you must be very considerate of how the other person's feeling. But in that situation, Devani was being manipulated and, you know, insulted and disrespected behind his back. So he gave a lot of grace considering that was happening to him. And it made people come to the conclusion that he's a soft touch. You know, he's not even a hopeless romantic. Can't even give him that anymore because there was
No.
no romance. He was being torn down in front of his face and behind his back. I think the only thing I can say is he was in a state of confusion because a lot of the stuff that was being told to him by the rest of the group was coming to him pretty late. And she was still denying, Julia Ruthless was still denying that some of these things were even being said.
Right.
Until she was cornered, and then she would admit it, right? The only time she actually took accountability was actually on the couch when it was time to say the final monologue and go home. And that's the only time she apologized, said she's sorry for treating him the way she treated him and this, that, the other. And you know, that should have been forthcoming a long time ago. In fact, you shouldn't have behaved the way you did. And in terms of her being an actress, it's a very believable, very believable character that she portrayed. And I would definitely question and wonder how close to that persona her real personality actually is, if that was an act, because it was far too convincing and it wasn't scripted. These monologues were off the cuff and very direct and very targeted and very situation appropriate. She's just a hostile person and, you know, she needs to own it. In terms of acting gigs, maybe acting in her own music videos or someone else's music videos might be appropriate. But I don't want to see Julia Ruthless on my screen doing anything else. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she stood up. This has been iconic. This has been a time. And I was like, girl, no, this is definitely monologue-ish. Okay, let's take it down a notch. Let's cover at least a couple couples that we ain't got no issues with, okay? Davide and Kia, fine, strength to strength. We ain't got much to say about them this week. Kia did help the groom that was paired with him, which was John. We're gonna get to them next. And Davide did try to help Lee, you know, spruce it up for Leah. Okay. These two were just on a mission to help everybody else in their marriage, and I didn't see any issues with them. Did you see any issues this week?
Yes, I did.
Oh, oh,
Not particularly between the actual participants of the relationship, but Lee was partnered up with David, and they went to a Specs shop
yes,
and
lingerie.
and whips and different things, right? Because the
Okay.
souvenir she came home with was a whip. Okay, now listen, hear me out. If Leah had gone on a Specs shop date with any body, would Lee be cool with that?
Then we need to talk about that when we talk about Lee and Leah.
Of course, but I'm just saying, David going to a Specs shop is not the kind of date I would think would be appropriate for this situation when Lee is very possessive, territorial, insecure, and controlling over her partner. Secondly, Lee and David got close. They hugged. And I also don't think that was appropriate either. But David and Kie, as I say, they have an understanding. They are cool. They've been solid throughout. But I think more boundaries could have been there in place if um, Lee is as standoffish as she wants Leah to be in her situation.
I can see that the whole double standard of it all. Lee feels that she could, hug Davide and carry on as she will. That's Lee. But if Leah was hugging the wife that she was paired with because she's also Leah's type, it would be a problem. But we'll talk about that with Lee and Leah, or we don't get there. So let's talk about who Kia was paired with. His relationship, Abby and John. They're also non-problematic right now, unless you see a problem I don't see.
No.
Now we saying I love yous. We announcing it at the dinner table. I said I love my wife, and she said she loved me back. We are announcing the love is in the room. But
Yep,
I don't know about these two.
both of these two so far are solid. It may seem very, I could see why people might not believe it or say it's cheesy or it's corny but yeah, I mean, for me, it just looks like they're not very experienced in the dating market, and they found each other and they are happily expressing it from a non-jaded point of view.
Right.
They
Right.
seem happy to be in love. So no anything from me. I was surprised at how close John and Kie actually were.
Yes.
But I don't want to think about that. I think Abby and John are a very solid couple at the moment.
They are, and if y'all look, I have gone to some of their social media. Abby, you are a bodybuilder through and through, girl. I'm loving it, loving it. But she did share her Lebanese food with. She was partnered with Ashley, and then they had April and Steven come over for dinner to kind of cheer up Ashley. And I really love that she leaned into her Lebanese heritage, and that was showcased. I really love that. Anything else for Abby and John?
Nah, they're cool. They're all
Okay,
right.
let's go to one of the problematic ones you were talking about. Since it's fresh on your mind.
Yeah.
Leah and Lee. So y'all, this week Leah was paired with oh gosh, Leisha.
Yep.
And Lee was paired, as we said, with Davide. So the thing is, we find out, okay, that we just talked about it. Lee went to the adult, the adult toy shop with Davide to pick out lingerie, but she came home with the whip and all kinds of stuff. So we already know she didn't use the hot wax on Lee like she wanted, on Leah like she wanted. So I don't think these are going to be put into good use, okay? But Leah went out with Leisha, bottomless brunch, y'all. They played pickleball, and apparently Leah forgot that she even ran into Lee anytime that time. I'm gonna need that brunch spot, because if you gonna forget who your spouse is or you even saw them, that's a good time. Then we find out that Leisha also used Leah's phone to contact Lee, to respond to Lee's messages. Now that's a dirty trick, but here's the other part. Leisha disclosed that she has kissed a girl before and she really liked it. What is Lee gonna think when her wife comes back knowing that she's with someone who has entertained this type of relationship? Life is reality. What is going on here? I see the whips are coming out for not a good reason.
Yeah, I think Lee bought that whip for purposes to be seen when the cameras aren't rolling. And I'm not talking about in an intimate way either. I think there's going to be some punishment because she told Leah no flirting. What was it? No touching. And well, there were a few more, but
There was a long list. No flirting, no touching, no
no eye contact, like don't do
yes.
nothing. Which
No
I think
sleeping in the same bed.
yeah. All of that stuff. So the downside to that obviously is there are so many rules that were given, quite a few of them are going to get broken. because they were, some of them were unrealistic. Very controlling, very possessive. And then she wasn't abiding by her own rules anyway. You
Right.
know, just because she knows that David isn't into women doesn't mean that you don't engage in flirtatious conversation or physical touch. They did have banter. Like I said, they did hug and embrace and all these different things. But Leah's in trouble. Leah is in trouble because from what we saw of her date with Leisha and the time they spent together, there was a hella flirting. There was lots of alcohol, which, as we know, can loosen inhibitions and loosen lips. And Leah was was saying what she'd like to do with some strawberries, I think she said.
Yep.
She'd like giving very some descriptions. She was saying that Leisha is her type. She described her type, and it turned out to be Leisha. I like my women brown hair and all the rest of
And
it.
Rebecca, we gotta say Leisha and Rebecca.
Of course. But I don't think she was saying it with Rebecca in mind.
No.
Because Rebecca wasn't present. So I'm going to go.
And the show knows Leisha has kissed a girl before. I'm sure they know it. That's why they did it.
Right. So this definitely puts Leah in trouble. Now, she may not see anything wrong with it. She may see it as harmless. But unfortunately, her partner, Lee, will not. Lee, as pint-sized as she is, I guarantee that mouth and that temper are 6'7". All right. She is going to go in. And the thing is, if they're not together after the show and they're watching this back now, at least they don't have to see each other. But if they're together now, watching this show back, and Lee's seen this interaction, oh boy, yeah, it's trouble. And I won't go into the stats on DV, but I'll just say I'd be very concerned for Leah's well-being, mentally and emotionally, not necessarily physically. Because I think with the type of partner that Lee is, where she can be very cold, very dismissive, very much, well, you're going to sleep in that room, I'm going to sleep in this room, don't talk to me. You went against what I said, I'm going to punish you. She has that mindset. And someone like Leah may, I know she comes across as an innocent flirt type of person, but that type of stuff will annoy the hell out of Lee. And that's when the emotional abuse could start. And then the withholding of intimacy, and then the snide comments, it can just escalate. So I don't like this for this couple. I'm not sure whether they're going to work or not. Obviously, it's still a little way to go, but I just don't have much confidence in this couple at all.
Same. I don't have much confidence. And Lee says she's coming from a place of she's been cheated on many a time by a previous spouse or previous partner. Forgive me, she's not been married before. But here's the thing. Again, it's given that, and this is not to victim blame at all. Okay, this is not to victim blame Lee at all. It is her partner's choice to go out there and cheat. But again, it's giving that I can't find happiness or peace at home and I go find it elsewhere. Because I would love to see Lee how she is in love. Okay, without the barriers and without all of this. It's like, why join this show if you're going to put up huge barriers that you're not willing to compromise with a new person? So again, Leah also needs to focus on, yes, a little flirty, never hurt anybody, but it could be friendly, not flirty. Because it's not just you. You may think of it as innocent, but the other person receiving your flirty behavior may think more of it. And that may end up tripping up. You think it's innocent flirting. Meanwhile, and I'm not saying this is Leisha, but a Leisha-like person going to be like, oh yeah, your wife wanted to get with me. Your wife went to get with me. She was, talking to me about da da da.
Yeah.
It's the perception of the
Right.
behavior and how the other person receives it for sure. So I really like you. I don't think this couple gonna make it. I want them to be done by the commitment ceremony
Mhm.
because I don't want either of them taking each other to the homestay. Next week is homestays, y'all. I don't
Yeah.
think any of them, either one of these two, should be taking the other to their home.
I think they will go to the homestay, and I think that we will be with a view for Leah to get grilled by Lee in front of family members. I think she wants
Yes.
an audience for the grilling as well. You
Yes.
know, I think it's going to be, well, tell her what you did with Leisha. Tell them what you did. Just putting her on the spot, putting her on blast. And again, I mentioned the emotional manipulation side of it. If you're always trying to one up your partner, put them in a negative state, upset their mood, upset their spirit, keep them down and depressed, and you start to thrive on doing that to the person, that's what I define as a form of abuse. So I don't want to see that happen. I really hope they do come to their senses and kind of cut it off before it gets too deep.
I hope so too. So let's get to a couple that Rebecca and Bailey. I didn't see much issue this week with Rebecca and Bailey. Rebecca was given Leo as her partner. Bailey was given, I can't remember who Bailey was paired with.
Bailey was paired with what's her name? Grace.
Grace. No, Reese was
No.
paired with Grace. Reese
Oh
was
yeah,
paired with
yeah, yeah,
Grace.
yeah. You're
I
right.
need I need to pull it down. Bailey was, I have the list. Okay.
Bailey was paired with
Nelly.
Nelly. Yes, Nelly,
Yeah.
because he treated Nelly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
he was see, yeah.
right.
Yeah,
But
Nelly. Yes.
yeah, for this couple though, I mean, they appear to be very solid. In fact, they seem to be working together to try and help other people's relationships now because they feel like they're in a good space. I don't have much to say on them at all. Um, you know, Usually we do see people nosy into other people's relationships, but I don't think there's anything malicious about what they're doing. Even with regards
Right.
to Rebecca um, and the
April
whole
and Leo.
Leo and April situation, I don't think it was malicious. So
No.
um, these two I could see making it on the outside as well, or at least to
Right.
the final ceremony.
Right. The homestay is going to say a lot. We're going to see if Bailey does express that he wants his daughter to meet Rebecca. So, I think the homestay will mean a lot for them and progression, after the show. But yeah, there isn't anything, there ain't no malicious intent. But, Rebecca clocked April. April, you did say that. And that's in one of my shorts where April was asked by Rebecca, are you feeling Leo, is your type? Do you miss him when he's away? And she was like, she didn't say anything, but her head certainly shook.
Mhm.
So, y'all, I have that in my shorts if you care to go and look at my, Married at First Sight UK shorts. But again, it was not malicious. They're both trying to help. Bailey, you ain't a safe space. We're going to say that. But what does the homestay mean? Sam, in the international versions, homestay means they take each other to their home because everybody doesn't live close to each other. This is kind of like Love is Blind or I'd Married at First Sight, where people go to collect their clothes, but instead they go for a few days. I think it's 4 days to their people's home. They meet their family and friends. Not a whole big party, or they sit down and have lunch or dinner with them and they film and talk about exactly how the marriage is going. So that's what a home stay or really a home visit is. And for some people, they crash and burn because we find out the goss. For one couple, one of his friends tells the girl what he been up to, and then for others, it solidifies the relationship because the families, say, hey, we find and see that y'all are doing wonderful. And in this case, I'm eager to see, and we may not see, and I'm okay if we don't see Rebecca meet Bailey's daughter, because in the UK version, they make a concerted effort not to show the children's faces, but they do film from like behind their head, but they don't show their faces. And I'm all for that. I'm all for protecting the children because they didn't sign up to be on this show. And everybody ain't kind on the internet. So definitely, I think this couple definitely could possibly make it, after the show. Um, I don't see any issues right here with them.
Mhm.
So let's get to Alicia and Reese. Reese looked like he was being held hostage with Grace. I'm sorry. Reese was supposed to go to Grace and learn a whole lot about, how to, what feminism is and feminist women. He was supposed to learn. He went there to learn. And all Reese is piled on by Grace because Grace was a Debbie Downer. She and Ashley had an argument before they left, and we'll talk about the argument when we get to them. But Grace would just keep on sad and piling on. Leisha got Leah and was eager to say, hey, let's go do this bottomless brunch. And, hey, let me let you know that I have kissed a girl and liked it before. So these two, I don't know how much they've shared with each other about their, partner swap, but they seem to be moving along nicely for each other.
Mhm.
No, we have not talked about Grace or Ashley yet. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. These two seem to be growing in attraction, growing in connection. Uh, Leisha getting close to Leah on their swap. I'm not sure how Reese will feel about that, to be honest. I don't know if he likes her enough or is invested enough to really care about it. But at the same time, any external attention or flirting could potentially harm his relationship. So I'm not really sure. And by his personality, it doesn't seem like he's a pretty controlling or problematic guy in that regard. But it wouldn't surprise me if he isn't fully aware of how far Leisha got drunk, the strawberries. He may not have even been told all of that.
But
But yeah, go ahead.
remember the whole coming back from the honeymoon with the strange man and the
Yep.
drinking.
Yeah, the drink, exactly. So that's why I'm saying I'm not sure he's been told everything because he's seen evidence of her getting drunk already and what that can lead to. So in an experiment where you're spending 3 days apart, 3 nights apart, were you drinking every day? Were you sharing the bed after said drinks? Were you having drinks at noon and having afternoon naps? What was happening? Were the bottomless brunches just bottomless drinks and not bottomless clothing? Like, how far were we going here? So, yes, I can definitely see why Reese would have some questions. But as I say, they actually do get on a lot better than initially when they first met. I will give them that. And they seem to be, I don't know if they last the entire way, but as I say, they've overcome the bumpy start.
Yeah, now that she's calmed down a bit, and maybe she calmed down,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, but I really want to see Reese's reaction to this because this will be a second, potential. But it sounds like Leah was more 2 sheets to the wind than Leisha was. It sounds like Leah, because Leah couldn't even remember running into her spouse. Leah couldn't even use her phone to respond to Lee's text, and Leisha did it for her. So I don't think she go too far, but I do think she kind of stretched the elastic just a little bit.
Well, let's also remember a key part of that text was we're in the apartment, we're tipsy but not drunk. Come and join us.
Right.
There was an invitation for Lee and David to come and join
Right.
Leisha and Leah at
Strawberry mixer.
Exactly. And they chose not to. So, but the concerning thing is, Leisha, how did you get into Leah's phone? Because I'm sure there are security features. And if Leah was level-headed enough, clear-headed enough to unblock the phone, why didn't she send a text? instead of letting Leisha do it,
Well,
which is
Leisha
obvious.
saw the text. Hey, I'm going to speak up for Leisha. Leisha saw
Mhm.
the text from Lee and realized if there's no response, Lee going to be fuming. So I ain't going to let your partner get out of hand and fuming at you and be mad. So I'm going to put the
I get
phone
it.
up to your face because it's probably facial recognition, and I'm going to unlock it, or I'm going to take your thumb while you snoozing and put it on there and unlock it and respond to your partner.
See, but this is why Lee was also pissed, because she's like, okay, so if Leah is passed out drunk, what is Leisha doing next to her while she's asleep, passed out drunk, in order to unlock the phone? Also, what is Leisha doing looking through or having access to the phone in the first place to see Lee's message at that time?
It lit
So,
up. It's on
mm,
the table. It's lighting up. I see Lee sent one text. She sent a second text. I'ma answer it once I see it's Lee.
no, 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 that's not your partner. That's not your business.
But
If it was,
I don't want to be accused of something, keeping Leah from her phone or whatever. So I'm gonna answer, and I will do an invitation. Say, hey, ain't nothing going on. Why don't y'all come up and hang with us and see nothing's going on?
that's the saving grace. The fact that she said, come over, you know, like, well, let's make it a foursome. Um, no pun intended, of course. But yeah, so that's the saving grace. There was actually an invitation to get the two couples together and interact. It was declined. But again, the questions that Lee would have with her overprotective, overbearing self would be, this doesn't make sense, which is why she was grilling Leah in the first place. You
Right.
ignored me, you this, that, the other, da, 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 and then I get a message. And the other thing is, Leah wasn't even aware that the message was sent.
Leah wasn't even aware that she saw Lee that day.
Exactly. So she wasn't aware that she saw her own wife to be, and she wasn't even aware that a message was sent to the wife from her phone.
I need that bottomless brunch spot. Where is it in the UK? If you could forget that
Now,
you
this,
even saw your partner for the day, I'm gonna need that in my life a few times a year.
listen, I told you, over here, we drink. No, 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 not me, because I don't drink. I never have. I'm teetotal. But the culture here is you drink for everything. Happy, drink. Sad, drink. Celebrate, drink. Mourn, drink. Grief, drink. Pastime, drink. Leisure, drink. After work, drink. Lunch, drink. You drink whenever, right? And the bottomless brunches are a way for businesses to stay open, because
Yes.
there are a lot of issues with licensing and places that sell alcohol closing, because the younger generation don't drink alcohol or consume alcohol in anywhere near the same amounts as the older generations do. So alcohol sales are down. So the establishments that are open or want to remain open will have bottomless brunch or
Right.
discounted drinks in order to get footfall into the business. So you can quite easily end up in a drunken stupor like Leisha
Yeah.
and Leah if you allow yourself to.
Welcome in, Crispy Bacon. I saw you earlier today on Sade's live. Welcome in. Yes, start watching Maps UK and Maps US, but I am enjoying UK. And of course, Live as Reality and we also cover Australia, and that's supposed to be coming back like late January. So I definitely like the different maps. But yes, Leisha is diabolical. I will give you that. The bottomless brunch of it all, and then using the woman's phone to actually respond to her wife is diabolical. I know she had good intentions, but knowing Lee ain't gonna take it that way. Lee gonna be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you was after my woman. Y'all were laying next to each other. How did she get your phone? How did she open your phone? And I didn't expect an invitation from her. I should be getting an invitation from you. I don't trust you." That's what she said. I don't trust you because you
exactly.
don't even remember seeing me that day. You weren't tipsy, you were drunk enough that you don't even remember seeing me, and I'm your wife.
Exactly. You went to a bottomless brunch, but were you bottomless when you got home?
Ooh, nice one. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. Did you kiss this girl? And did she like it? That's what we need to
Exactly.
know with Leisha. And I find that the show kind of moved over away from that. But
Mhm.
Gail is saying that Reese may have his own show. Yeah, he may. I don't know who Joey Essex is, but
He's
Munira, huh?
he's like a he's like a reality TV dating
Okay,
show kind of guy.
okay.
They have a show over here called The Only Way is Essex, which is kind of similar to um, what's the one you guys have over there? It slips my mind.
Tell me
But
the
you
premise of the show.
Jersey Shore, sort of like a
Okay,
Jersey Shore, but the
okay,
UK
okay,
version.
okay.
And one of those.
Munira in the chat definitely agrees with you, Gail. So yeah, I can see that Reese has mellowed out for me from the beginning. He was kind of a little too on, real in your face. But Grace with her, pity party certainly showed us a more mellowed out Reese. And Reese is probably tired because we also know that Leisha wants it when she wants it, how she wants it, and wherever she wants it, and Reese is to perform. So I will give Reese that he is just tired and he is taking the time with Grace to rest.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that also, if she does have as high libido as she's making out that she does, then again, alcohol with a flirtatious situation, that may not end well. The other thing is, stay tuned for some news on Reese, because there are multiple women claiming things about Reese, and we don't know if they're true or not, but his name is being called by quite maybe I think 2 or 3 different women that I've seen who there is some very
Overlapping.
close, yes, some overlapping and some very close timeline interactions between him
Well,
and maybe 2 or 3 different women.
we hear the word on the street is so does Steven. So
Yeah,
does Steven.
yeah,
That's a word on the street, but we gonna leave it on the street until it's confirmed.
yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
We're gonna leave it on the street. I'm hoping for. I have reached out to a lot of the cast members on the show to see if they would do an interview. And I will, of course, let the members know first if I have been successful, but I've reached out. But I don't know the rules of Channel 4 and if they can interview before the show ends. But I have definitely put some feelers out for them to come on and talk to us. So
They
anything else for Alicia and Reese?
I was just going to say they do have an NDA, but it
Right.
depends on when the NDA expires. But nothing
Exactly.
else for Alicia and Reese at this moment.
And because I brought his name up, let's go with Nelly and Steven. I
Mhm.
think Nelly's like Maeve. You need to give it up. You need to give it up. Steven was paired with April, and as we said, Nelly was paired with Bailey. Bailey gave Nelly the princess treatment that she really wants Steven to give her. Steven
Mhm.
did give April breakfast in bed, but that's because April cooked dinner the night before. But when Nelly gets home, Steven put the picture of the group and a picture of him and April on the fridge, and Nelly was highly offended. Do you think that Nelly really took it too far or not far enough?
Way too far. It was a group setting. Um, this couple, when Stephen was paired with April, they were joined by Ashley and
Abby,
uh,
Abigail.
Abigail. Yes, and it was a foursome, so there was nothing that took place per se. But Stephen and April's chemistry is completely undeniable, especially compared to their respective partners. Um, Nelly is giving me not only Maeve, but a little bit of Divani delusion. Nelly is carrying a lot of insecurities and a lot of baggage from previous relationships into this one. And unfortunately, every time she expresses it, um, it doesn't allow Stephen to give his perspective or what his experiences of the relationship. The conversations are completely dominated by her insecurities and how she feels, whether it's from something Stephen's done or whether it's how she views a situation. So Stephen isn't attracted to her. It's fading more and more. I feel like he, I think he feels like he's giving her the chance to really try and make a go of it this week, which is why he put stay for now. I think he's saying, okay, listen, if he's not able to do all of the list of things that she requires, then it's time to go home. And what he's done by saying that to her is he said, listen, I'm quite cool with not measuring up to your standards. Yeah, if you still have stuff to say at the end of this week, it's home time. All right, he's got kids. So the homestay might involve her meeting the kids and all of that stuff. Let's nip that in the bud. If it's not going to work, you don't need to come meet the kids. On your way, I'll be on mine, and we can go from there.
Yeah, Nelly is giving, the whole, victim, her whole insecurity, and she's, everybody's doing something to her, or Steven is always doing something to her. Steven is no saint, but she irritates me in many a sense. It's like she got all this lip for Julia Ruthless, as you call her. She got all this lip for other people and other things, but not much for Steven that we see. Steven is doing a lot of stuff, and I don't see her having as much heat for Steven. And I'm wondering it's because she don't want to push him away too much. Because some people don't do too much anger to their person because they want to make sure that they keep their person. So again, I don't know. She's irritating me, with the constant, oh, you put her on the don't. It seems a little too passive aggressive and whiny to me. Because like, why you have this woman on the fridge? No, Steven, why can't we do photos or grab him and say, what? Let's put our pictures up on the wall. Let's put our pictures up on the fridge. I'm glad you had a great time. Let us put our pictures up. I mean, come on.
You raise a very valid point. One of Nelly's rules was you better not cook for her. You better not cook for April. What did he do? Cooked breakfast. Now, she made a firm boundary. When she hears about that, forget about the picture. She's going to be like, oh, so you decided to do something for her that you didn't do with me, and I specifically told you not to do it. That's going to send her over the edge. The photographs are the least of the problems. Because as I said, that was a foursome. And from what we've seen in the run-up to this particular couple swap, is that April had been choosing Ashley as her ideal partner, not Steven.
Right.
She'd been choosing Ashley consistently, and that was affecting Ashley and Grace's relationship. Made Grace very insecure to hear that. So now she's connected with Steven on this couple swap. You could obviously see there was flirting, which they weren't supposed to necessarily do, because April specifically outlined what Nelly would have wanted, which is no flirting, no contact, no this. And they made a mockery of it. They were laughing and joking,
Well, they were had touching above the covers because she tucked him in.
It was above the covers for what we saw, but we don't know if there was an unraveling of the covers after that. And I'm sure when she got to the legs and bootay parts, she spent quite a lot of time tucking him in down there too.
Hey, you got to make sure that there's not a draft.
You got to make sure he's snug. It's got to be snug. It's cold, right? Does she tuck Leo in like that though? I don't think so. In fact, I think she turns her back on Leo and takes the blanket with her.
Wait a minute now, y'all. In one of my shorts, remember, I put this as a short that says that April really don't want Leo. Remember when she was packing, Leo took his hot dog sausage and put it in her suitcase to say something to remember me by. And she's like, I don't want that sausage.
No, she wants, Ashley or Steven sausage will do.
We gonna get to there when we get to April and Leo.
She like, no, why am I taking your sausage when I'm going to meet Steven? That's what she was thinking.
Right,
but I will say,
Steven gave her the breakfast in bed too, not just breakfast.
Exactly. He actually sauntered it. So they're obviously comfortable. with walking in the jammies or the boxer shorts or whatever he was wearing, and coming in and giving her the breakfast sausage in bed. Wow. So
He's serving. He untucks and serves.
exactly. So yeah, I thought their chemistry was actually very great. It shouldn't have happened, but I think Stephen and April would actually make a good match. Even though she has what most people would say resting B face. I don't like to use that term,
Right.
but she just seems very emotionless in the face, very
Right.
stern most of the time. But Stephen melted her. She
Yes.
was laughing, she was giggling, they were joking.
And
So I think they really needed that time away from their partners. But unfortunately, they have too much chemistry to be able to go back to their partners and just sweep it under the rug, in my
And let's
opinion.
go to them because April was having a good old time because she was in her happy place. She was between two men. She was attracted to Ashley and Steven
Mhm.
in that dinner. She was loving it.
Yeah.
So, in this week, we find out Leo has been doing a lot with April. He has been, romancing her, covering dinners and taking her out. And April, as I said, when he tried to give her his sausage to pack, she said, I don't want that. And I took that to mean both the stuffed toy sausage and his real sausage. So April is also denying with Rebecca that she said she don't really fancy Leo. And we all heard it. We all saw it. That's another short of mine. Okay. Y'all need to go through the shorts and see the clips for the show, please. And I give a little commentary right after it. So the thing with this week is April found herself in a happy place and realize Leo ain't it. And Leo is still trying. And Rebecca and other people are telling Leo, stop trying. She ain't about you. She ain't about this. Leave it alone. What were your thoughts this week about April and Leo?
Unfortunately, another comparison to a Julia Ruthless and Devani situation, a Nelly and Steven situation. We have Leo, who feels like, he's struggling to open up and show a side of him that he thinks would be attractive for April. And in the process of trying to figure that out, how to present himself, because he's used to being around the lads, doesn't know how to translate his personality into a relationship so that his girl will find him attractive. April has started to lose attraction to him and is thinking, oh dear, this guy's a bore off, basically. He's very boring. I don't know how to figure him out. I don't have, there's no spark there. So, yeah, Leo is being now told by Rebecca that April said she doesn't fancy him. Leo is obviously quite taken aback by that, but he doesn't believe the gossip straight away. He wants to hear it from April first. So when he sat down with April and they've had the conversation, April said, "No, I didn't say that." But we know that that silence that she gave was actually confirmation she doesn't find him attractive. All right, because similar to when Julia Ruthless was on the couch with Devani a few episodes back. When you're asked, are you attracted to your partner? If it's not an immediate yes, then it's a no,
It's a
right?
no. Exactly.
Exactly. So, this couple just haven't got that chemistry. He likes her more than she likes him. I think if he is doing gestures, that's standard procedure in the situation. Um, he, you know, he's meant to be paying for some of these dates. She probably reciprocates in her own way and whatnot. But I don't think it's about that. I don't think it's about who pays for what and what they do. It's just about the lack of chemistry, um, and how slow he has been to get out of the gate and really impress her with who he really is. And April's head has been turned first by Ashley, who she's probably been admiring from afar, thinking she wishes she had him. But as I said, now that she's had a close encounter with Stephen for 3 days, I think she can see Stephen in a much different light to what Nelly sees Stephen as. And I know Nelly likes him, Obviously, she wouldn't want it to work if she doesn't. But that level of chemistry that April has, I think Stephen would be very aware of uh, how a relationship with April would be much different to what he has with Nelly, and and the same with April and Leo. I think now that April's had a taste of Stephen, I feel like she's like, boy, this is what a relationship could be like with Stephen, and I'm stuck here with this Leo guy. No, I'm not feeling it.
Now that you had a taste of Steven, I know you meant a joke, but my mind went there.
Yeah,
Um, she had a taste of his cooking, y'all. Okay, that's just my mind. Um, but here's the thing: I don't know if April would welcome a ready-made family with Steven. It's all well and good for this bubble. I think also that's why I would more look at Ashley because, I don't know. I don't know April. We have not seen or heard her talk of Stephen and his family. So I don't know how receptive she is to a ready-made family. That's my only concern with them. And then two, she wasn't around when we saw volatile Stephen, was she? She wasn't there when Stephen was calling
no,
people out their name and throwing the cup across the room.
no, I don't think she was. No,
So she got the happy-go-lucky Stephen. She ain't got the real Stephen that we saw. So she is in my mind. She's romanticizing Stephen. Stephen is more relaxed. Yes, he doesn't have all the other pressures that he has with Nelly. But I still don't think it's anything other than in this experiment. I don't think it can get
yeah,
beyond.
I think similar to the Julia Ruthless situation, April hasn't seen the behaviors of Stephen to speak of, because he hasn't been cornered and I won't say ganged up on, try and use a different word, but everybody was taking shots at him and he wasn't able to get his point of view across without getting cut off or the situation being transferred directly back to Nelly. And that was
Right.
by the group members and the experts. So out of frustration, out of anger, he showed that he has no regulation. Once he's had enough, he's going to cuss you out and he's going to storm off. So
So Munira is reminding that she did see Steven when he threw the cup, when he talked to Nelly on the side. I couldn't remember if the new brides
correct.
and grooms were there yet, but she saw Steven throw the cup and call everybody a see you next Tuesday. I,
Yeah.
I don't get the ladies, who put Steven on their bingo card. I just don't.
Yeah, I see it. I do get why they like him. Former footballer, tall, not bad looking in their eyes, has some money. So yeah, that's all you need. So I don't, he's not the worst person that we're ever going to have on this show by any stretch of the
No, he's not.
imagination.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Um, but as I say, in terms of his connection with April, it's very good. It's very high. And that's probably what they both were expecting from their partners that they've been paired with. Unfortunately, it's nowhere near that. So April and Leo, don't see it working for them. Don't see her being attracted to him at all. And it's just a question of how she lets him down. Is it going to be gently or is it going to be very short and sharp?
Gotcha. Okay, let us move on. Now I'm trying to figure out who else we have. We do have Ashley and Grace. Ashley and Grace this week. Ashley made a comment, y'all. Ashley made what he considers a joke while his wife Grace was getting ready to go to the gym. Apparently, she was still in the midst of getting dressed, and he was, pouncing on her. Um, Basically, he said, she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Hey, a beautiful woman." Her story is a beautiful woman in front of me that is still not fully clothed. He will get randy. Okay. Um, Ashley's version is that he said, My wife is there. So, hey, why not? She's an attractive woman. So I'll get Randy. So basically, Grace didn't like the joke because she felt like any woman, any beautiful woman could be there and he would, have the hots for her. And Ashley's like, it's not any woman, it's you, it's my wife. I think we're too much in the weeds. We're too much in semantics with this couple. but Ashley is at the end of his rope. Grace is,
Mhm.
at the end of her rope. But in this instance with this couple, I am totally on the opposite side of the experts. Totally on the opposite side. Because Grace has freaked out from day one over Ashley when he barely said anything. She didn't want him touching her far less we got here. At least he's able to touch her and with her consent, of course. And now it's like every word he says is a dig. There's no lightness about this relationship. And Ashley at the dinner party is like, he don't see this moving forward. He's just done. He got to watch every single word he says. And it is exhausting. I'm sorry, y'all. Grace is exhausting to me. She is exhausting. It's like not everything Ashley says has to be dissected. It has to be, well, what do you mean by that? And it could be any woman. And how could you? I mean, come on. The man, what he's telling you is he finds you attractive. Did he say it the correct way? That's really, really nice? No. It may be really tacky to you. But his thing is, he's attracted to his wife and he's trying to let her know. So I just don't understand exactly what Grace wants out of this. I really don't. And Ashley, everybody's agreeing with Grace, like, oh my God, it could be any woman. I need y'all to butt out. I need y'all to butt out. It ain't any woman. At the moment, the any woman is his wife. What did you think, Life is Reality?
I think you're spot on when you say semantics. I think Grace gets triggered by any and everything. She's very erratic. Always gives me an unstable feeling when I see her express anything. And then she's also, again, trying to talk into his ear, like manipulate him. You know that what you said was like this, and you know that I'm not going, like all of that coercive, like you're trying to coerce him to make him feel guilty or a certain way about something because you do. He may not have meant any maliciousness behind or any malice behind what he said. But you're making such a big deal out of it. Every few minutes, you're trying to chastise him, finger wag, finger point, control, and all these different things. It's gonna drive him away. And most guys that have any self-awareness, they are not going to stand there and be nagged and nitpicked all day and then turn and say, oh, but I love you. Yeah, I love you too, babe. No, that's not how it goes. Most guys value how you treat them and how the experiences of being with you do both feel special. That's how you really win a man over, in my opinion. Being a man myself, not saying that just works for me. It might work for a whole host of men. I don't speak for all men. But I'm saying if you're constantly standing there like this and trying to police and condense someone into this little space where they can only do a few things and they have to be approved by you, you're gonna lose out. No one's gonna want to be with you. You're gonna have some cold, lonely nights ahead. So that's the first thing. The other thing is Ashley's not first time. This is like his second or third offense now. The first one was when he made a joke where he said, yeah, you behave like a D word, basically. But he said it in jest, and she took offense to it the next day, wrote down on the task that was one of the things she disliked about him, and made a big deal out about that. Now, in this instance, she was getting ready for the gym, and when, like, I don't think he got up and physically tried to get onto her. It seemed to me like he complimented her while she was getting ready, complimenting her body. So while she's getting dressed, sometimes the ladies wear yoga pants or some other form of gym clothing that shows off the contours, right? And he complimented. He said, "Listen, Core, you look nice. You look great. You look sexy. Whatever the case may be." And then when she replied, "Oh, don't be silly. I'm just going to the gym," her prudish self would. He said, "Well, I've got a half naked, sexy woman in front of me. Why wouldn't I be turned on?" And she took that ball and ran with it. Oh, so any girl that's half naked with you in front of you, that means you're going to be attracted to them. And that means you're going to cheat on me in that situation. And I'm not wrong for feeling like that. Yes, you are. You've overcooked the situation. That's not what he was saying. There's no way I think Ashley is malicious enough to say, listen, if you were any girl right now, I would want to be. I don't think he was coming from that place. And
No.
that's where she's tried to position the conversation. Then she's gone around, like when they were in close proximity to one another, he said, look, you could ask the group. I'm sure no one would have a problem with this. And she said, well, that's the problem. You need the rest of the group for validation to validate your point. What did she do at the dinner party? She went and asked around the other members of the group, then came and sat next to him and said, well, I've already asked the other members of the group and they agree with me. That da-da-da-da. I was like, yo, you are manipulative, Grace. I'm sorry. I don't see how you expect Ashley to be able to sit there and stay with you in a relationship when you are on his case all the time. You're ruining the romance. You didn't want him to touch you. Now he can't compliment you. He can't make jokes around you. And there was one other thing that took place, which was
He was
when,
crying at the end.
yes, yeah, exactly. So he's fed up now. He's crying tears of frustration. And her way of consoling him is basically patting him on the back and saying, yes, but just say I'm right. It's okay. You don't have to be right all the time type stuff. No, this guy's reached the end, Grace. And I think he's given enough chances to the relationship. If he stays there, he's going to continue to be emotionally manipulated the whole time.
Yeah,
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 go ahead.
I agree with that because it seems like he can't say anything that isn't going to be picked on. Has he said anything that you like? It's like, or is this editing focusing on just that? But he's saying constantly, please, like if y'all watch Love is Blind Denver, say something nice, say something nice, say, joke. What Ashley's looking for is, or you should know by now, my intentions. My intention is not to hurt you. My
Right.
intention is not to be malicious. If that's the way it's coming across, I need you to know who I am because that's not my intention. The
Mhm.
thing with Ashley is he wants to give a quirk. He wants to make joke, but I think he jokes, as you said before, like Leo does with his boys, and the joke doesn't land. But that doesn't mean that the joke needs to be dissected.
Mm.
If he had come and told me I was acting like a D, like he said, I was like, well, I can't because I ain't got one. So
Mm.
what is it now? But you see, I'll be giving back and forth and I don't take it too personally. But
Right.
again, Grace is on, and I would love to know which feminist wave she's on. Because they're different waves. She's on a kick of men are always bad.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's like everything Ashley does is bad.
Right.
And I'm like, can we say something nice? Even just telling her what to wear because he knows the restaurant, he knows the dress code for the place and how she would feel comfortable. Oh, he's trying to tell me what to wear. He's trying to control me.
That was it. Yeah. Trying to tell her what to wear. That was the other thing. Yeah.
She's doing too much. For me, Grace is doing too much. And then she wants to sit there. I think the best case for Ashley this past dinner party was to remain silent, because it put a spotlight on exactly Grace and her behavior and what was going on. Him staying silent, him walking away. Yes, he was having an emotional moment. He was like, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired of having to explain myself that I'm not the bad guy. Because it seems like everything, you are man and you are bad. So you
Right.
are the bad guy.
And the thing is, he's not even using that language. It's her that's saying, you're making me feel like I'm the bad guy or the bad person in the relationship. And that's not the case. So
And
that's
Bailey,
the,
right. And Bailey said that.
yeah. And that's
Bailey
the
said
gap.
anytime he's saying it, he doesn't repeat it like if you are a problem. He just
Exactly.
states it. He never says you are a problem.
Exactly. And even with that confirmation, and that, that reaffirming of Ashley and what he's been saying, it fell on deaf ears because she's so adamant that it is that way. Right. And, Yeah, I just feel like even if she was in uh, a same sex relationship, say with Lee or anyone like that, she would be a Debbie Downer on them too. I think the only person Grace needs to be with right now is on the couch, a therapist couch, with a therapist, a hot cup of tea, and break down why you think it's acceptable to treat not only other people the way you do, but why you treat situations the way you do. You take everything to heart, take it personally, and then as a result of that, it takes the energy, it takes the passion in the environment to a downward spiral. You're a killjoy. You're
Right.
sapping the life and fun out of your relationship by constantly being so critical.
I wonder if Reese told her that, because I wanted Reese to speak up and say, Grace, this week was hard with you because you were
I
just
don't
Debbie Downer.
I don't think he would because he doesn't really care. I
Right.
mean,
Doesn't.
Ashley might be his mate, but he's like, listen, that's your relationship. I want nothing to do with your relationship.
You're
So
right. Reese don't care. Reese
now,
brought the plate of cookies, and I'm sure he ate most of them.
listen, he's just happy that he isn't having to, get down at
Perform.
12 noon. Exactly. He just needs a rest. I don't want to think about nothing. I don't want to talk about nothing. Yeah, okay. You just go ahead. You can talk about everything you want. I'm just gonna sit here and snooze. Because I'm
It
gonna
was
need my rest.
his
I'm gonna need my power nap when I go back to Leisha. That's what Reese was thinking.
vacation. But this partner swap, I mean, Ashley got what he needed, a lively evening with everybody. And I think that was the problem. Ashley went and had a good time. So when you came back, did you do your homework? Did you
Oh,
reflect and do what I told you to do? And then when we heard, oh, that's a no. That's a no. You didn't do it. So what are we doing here? And then starts the berating him all over again.
I'm glad you raised that because that was also a very diabolical situation. I don't even like using that word diabolical, but that was very manipulative of her. So they were obviously not on good terms when he was leaving to go to the couple swap. So she's worried now about how he's going to have fun and do everything he can to forget about their tensions. She didn't want him to forget about the tensions. She said, while you're away, you think carefully about your actions and your behaviors in this relationship, where you can take accountability and this, and the other. And yeah, I don't blame Ashley for just going, no, you can do that. I'm going to go have fun because you've clearly forgotten how to do that. So Ashley went and had fun belly dancing with Stephen and Abigail and April. And I don't blame him one bit. I would have done the same thing too because you're stressing me out at home. You think I'm going to go on this new couple swap experiment and I'm going to be down in the dumps thinking about you chastising me every 5 minutes and telling me off it? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to let my hair down. I'm going to relax and I'm going to enjoy the process. You can sit down and be concerned about what you think I'm getting up to all you want. That's your mindset. You're trying to manipulate the situation. You can do that. I'm going to relax and chill out. When I come back, then, at least I've had fun away from you. Then we can get back into our deep conversations if necessary. Because, when she was with Reese, I guarantee you she was pacing up and down talking about what she thinks Ashley's getting up to.
Yes, we did see it. We saw it twice that she
Right.
she was talking about Ash. They were talking about something else and it brought right back to Ashley. And it's like, girl, you a Debbie Downer this week. But
Yep.
she was paired with the right one. As you said, Reese just wanted a physical, relief and rest from the demands of his wife, okay, that he is willing to perform for. But yeah, I think these two need to just say, leave. I don't need to take you home with me at all. At
Yeah.
all. I would not advise it. Ashley, you say you're basically done. This is not going to work. I'm hoping that, today's episode that he does say leave and she has
Yeah.
to leave and she puts leave too. But I was hoping he put that ring on that table at that dinner party
He
and
was taking it
walk.
off. He's definitely
He-
contemplating it. You could see him removing it and putting it back on. And I thought he was done then, and I definitely hope he's done now. No point coming
right,
all the way to Wales only to for you to meet my fam, and
right.
then you
You've been
know,
treating me like
not more.
crap.
Exactly. She's been really horrible to that guy. There's nothing worse than trying to, intentionally dampen someone's mood or their spirit. I really don't like when I see people do that.
All the time. It's like, just laugh, just laugh, just
Yeah.
laugh, just, have a happy place. But she has had this from the wedding. She
Hmm.
was having a meltdown before the photographs,
Yeah.
a complete
Yes.
meltdown, and her friends had to bring her back.
Hmm.
Her friends had to be the one to talk to Ashley and let her know he's not talking traditional, meaning that you're barefoot and pregnant. He's saying just treat you with respect. Her friends had to translate from the beginning.
Mm.
She's too far out in the wave of feminism. There's such a thing as, yes, we women need a voice, we need to be heard, we have our rights, yes, but that is not at the expense of the emotions of your partner.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Anything else about, I think that's our last couple.
Yeah.
We
No, I'm
covered
cool.
everybody.
I think we covered it
Wow.
all. Hmm.
We lost a couple. We covered, pretty much everybody. Yeah.
And we're
We
about
only
to lose a
have
few more.
we only have 8 couples remaining
Yep.
after these 2 that left. But we got to dwindle it down more, because when we have the decision day, on decision day, we usually don't have 6 to 8 couples.
Now, the, I
So Nelly
think,
and Steven can go.
yeah, Nelly and Steven can go. Leo and April can go.
Yep.
Um, Leah and Lee can go.
Yeah. Yeah, we got
And
3 right there.
Ashley and Grace can go.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll
4.
be down to just 5 at that point. We'll
Hmm.
be down to Kia and Devity. We'll be down to Rebecca and Bailey,
Yep.
Alicia and Reese,
Tia and
Abby
David.
and John, and that'll be it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
But they may leave Leah and Lee just to, make it, a little spicy to see. I wonder if they will or won't. But that's Lee and that's Leisha and Reese for me.
Mm.
But let the people know where you are. Life is reality. What are you up to? What are you doing?
I am on JRX TV on the IG. You can find me, and it's lots of health and fitness tips. I focus more on my stories. I don't really post that often, but you never know what kind of nuggets you're going to see on them stories. I tell you, and I even surprised myself. And
Yes, he surprises me on TikTok a lot.
TikTok, some exotic holiday destinations, property locations, um, mainly. And you will see me go live from time to time, doing a few other topics and stuff. And on YouTube, Life is Reality. And I cover Married at First Sight UK, definitely going to be Married at First Sight Australia, Ready to Love, and shows of that nature. So yeah, tune in. Like the videos. Definitely leave your comments so we can see what you're thinking, get your feedback, and respond accordingly. Um, and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, Elsid's channel, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, we
And
do.
also, don't forget
Go
to
ahead.
put on the notification bell so that you get notifications of all uploads, whether it's Elsid's breakdowns, briefings, shorts, all the various programs that LCID covers, or myself when I go live, whenever that is.
Yes, definitely. You are here on LCID 932. I cover Married at First Sight. I'm covering Austin in the US right now, Austin, Texas. Married at First Sight UK, which we just did, season 10. I love Married at First Sight Australia. So when it comes through in January, we will be back with a weekly live for that one. I also cover Love is Blind, US and the international versions, and Italy is coming up on December 1st. So we have a whole new international crew to get to know. And I'll be doing recaps for that and probably doing weekly lives, just like I'm doing for Married at First Sight, Austin, Texas. Now, today, I have a segment that I created here called Unsolicited Advice, where we give the advice that the internet is asking for. That's going to be at 5 p.m. EST. And today, the two hot topics are the person never got an O. Okay. They never got to the land of Oz with their person. Okay. The land of O is orgasm. They never had one in their relationship. And they're wondering how do they manage? And this young lady finds out that her husband has been texting his ex-girlfriend all throughout their marriage. That's just two of the four pieces of unsolicited advice we're going to cover today. And of course, tomorrow, members, we got our over 18 talks. We got our date and dump. Members is Members Mondays at 8 p.m. EST. I also do Reel It In, where we talk about movies or shows in the week. And I have LSIT Unscripted on Fridays. That definitely is a good time where we talk about a year in music. Members get to find out which year ahead of time. And we talk about whatever the chat wants to talk about. That's the time for the chat to tell me what we're going to talk about. And it's a good time. We get into music, we get into trivia. It is a good time had by all on a Friday. But definitely, also we have All's Fair on Hulu. It's a Ryan Murphy show about female lawyers taking over the divorce legal sector. I'm going to watch that. It comes out on the 4th, which is a Tuesday. I'm going to watch that and see if I'm going to be doing reviews or a live, but I am intrigued based on the all-star cast, okay? But y'all, thank you so much for being here. We will be here next week again for Married at First Sight UK season 10, and it is homestay week. So we'll definitely be talking a lot more about their visits to each other's home. Thank you so much for being here. And as I always say, I'll see you on the next one.